Hello. Oh, I like my music. Hello. Welcome to the Capture and Connect podcast. And I'm trying to adjust my camera because the app isn't working properly. So I'm green. As photographers, we should be fixing this. And I tried and I can't seem to get the app working. I'm using a Shure microphone and at least the mic is working. But I want to welcome you. I have not announced this to a lot of people. I've been sick. I've been tired. We all get that way, but I'm here and I show up. When I say I'm going to show up, I do show up. You guys know it. Hello, hello, Treasure Hunt. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you, Scott. I got my little story for you. This is one thing that I love is that I get to meet new photographers and doing this live, even though the camera's not working properly or something happens, I don't care. It's still fun. I get to meet you guys. We're actually here live chatting about what we love, our photography, and taking that passion to profit. So I'm here. Yeah, I will put this in, and I have dogs over here. They may bark, they may not. We'll see what happens, but I will put this and cut it up and put it in the actual other podcasts which is Apple, Spotify, and Amazon. So today we're going to talk about find your images that sell. But before we get there, I want to let you know that I have 2 times out of the year where I take vacation, and this is one of them. This I will not have this podcast again until January 7th. So I take a 2-week break from work. Well, kind of work. I just I take my time to unwind, be with family, and do that, and stay away from the business a little bit more than usual. And then I do it the other year once a week during my birthday in July. So I will still put in raws. I've actually made raw podcasts. So raws are if you go to Apple and Spotify and Amazon, they're yellow, and those are to the point. So these ones that we're doing here live, they're in purple. These are the ones that are more like teaching and training, and the raws are what's happening in my business at the moment. And I will share with you exactly what's good and what's bad so you guys don't make mistakes or do good things that are happening at the moment. And I have my husband's Christmas Santa Claus hat. I don't know how long I'm gonna last with it because it is warm here in New England. I'm in New England, and for it's warm, 51 degrees. I'm a California girl, so 51 is usually cold. Oh my gosh, here we go. I just froze because the app started to say, "Oh, I'm gonna work for you right now." This app that I'm having. So say hi in the comments. This is the pre-podcast. Let me go over here so you guys can see that we are in a pre-podcast. So I'm actually not doing the podcast for say because I like to chat with you guys before and then after the podcast, after we do our fun podcast, I'd like to see what you guys are up to. So if you are you guys doing anything fun for the holidays, let me know. I would love to know. I do want you to I actually went ahead and I put the next podcast up on PhotoBiz Method in Facebook and YouTube because I'm excited because it's the new year. And we all get excited and then we fall off some of our tracks of what we really wanted to focus on. But I'm here to push you guys. I'm here to help you. So let's see if any of you guys want to jump in, that's fine. No worries. If you don't, it's I'm just going to keep going and flowing because I got a lot to share with you today. Um, let's see. All right, I got the podcast. I'm going through my notes. So the next podcast that I put in there is called Let's Talk About the Photography Roadmap, and that's going to be January 7th. And that is super exciting because what I'm going to do is start the beginning of a roadmap. I'm not going to teach you the whole roadmap, but I'm going to share with you how I built my photography business. And you could do it too. You take little steps. You go chunk, 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 and you do it. If you don't do chunk, 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 and you try to go from A to Z, you won't do it. You will fail. So I don't want you to do that. I also want to let you know that in photobizmethod.com, I have a marketing checkoff list, and I am going to take that down for 2025 because we have a new opt-in, a couple new opt-ins. That's when you, as a photographer, put something on your website or social media saying, "Hey, you want to join my email list? I'm going to give you something free." And in order for you to get it, you're going to sign up for it because I'm going to give you value for it. And if you don't like it, then just leave the emails. It's no problem. But grab it free. See if you can find your clients, how to put photography on the wall, how to license and contract awesome image photography from me, and I will help you. That's what we do. Hi, David. Yay. Thanks for showing up. I really appreciate you guys showing up because, again, I did not share this to the world. I shared this the 2 days yesterday and today, and I've been horribly like exhausted, and that's just the way it is sometimes, right? But I'm going to actually start the podcast right now. But what I want to do before I get going, for any of you guys that are new, this podcast is for landscape, nature, and macro photographers who want to take their passion to profit. And I'm here every single Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. on YouTube and Facebook. And except for next week. Well, and I'll be back January 7th live. So I have a whole bunch of things down below in YouTube. Facebook, fairly new over there. I have a following, but I didn't put a lot of a lot of input, a lot of not input. Yeah, a lot of input. I didn't give you guys a lot in Facebook because YouTube is my place. I love YouTube. And so I have a lot of playlists on how to photograph, how to post process. And now we're in a I'm in a new realm of my photography career, helping you build a business. So this is fun and new for sure for me. You can listen on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. Amazon has Audible and Amazon Music. Those are where the raws were, what I was talking about. Raw is pretty down straight to, if you guys don't listen to podcasts, check this out anyways on the raws, because it's even like, are you not sleeping because you're worrying about your business? Because guess what? Janice was doing that. And I'm going to share you how I kind of help myself sleep. So things like that, right? Really straight to the point. Okay, take a deep breath because it's time for the podcast. And one of the things that I wanted to say is always I give something for free. When you guys come to the podcast, I give you Amazon, I give you downloadables. Well, this downloadable, I tried to get it done and I couldn't do it. And Ira's not feeling good either, and we couldn't do it. But everything that I'm going to share with you today, how to pick your images is what I do. And I made a checkoff list for you guys so you could have it later. So you could listen to me or come back to this podcast because it's going to be probably a week or two before this goes on to photobizmethod.com. We put all these on the blog. You can see the raws on the blog too. So I will give you that. It's just not going to be today. Usually I give it to you guys in the chat. So sorry about that. Hey, Kathy. Hello. I'm so happy. You guys rock. Let me get some water. Thank you for coming. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. I got Santa Claus. I got Kevin's hat. And my video is off and it looks horrible, but hopefully you can hear me good because that's all that really matters, right? Right. All right. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the podcast. I'm going to do the podcast right now. And what I say here is I'm not being rude to you guys when I actually am streaming now on the podcast. You guys could chat it up, say things on the chat, and I will go after I'm done with my podcast. What you're seeing the behind the scenes basically, and I will see what you guys have said. So anything you guys want to say is cool. I will go back, put you up on the screen. It's already been 10 minutes since I'm on, so I got to get rolling because these are my steps. But I promised Scott, who is Treasure Maids, I told him I thought we got to meet each other because of this, and we've now follow each other on Facebook, and same with Kathy and David. And so what I decided to do is I told him I would tell him a little bit about myself. This is just I can't, it's a little bit, but what I'm telling you today goes with what we're talking about. So that's what I was thinking about, Scott, when I was talking about myself. Okay, so but I want to start off. I always start off with basically what you guys are going to learn. So, um, oh, I didn't do it in my notes. See, I have notes because you think I'm going to remember. I'm older now. I don't remember everything. So let me start off with. Okay, hold on. I need to see this. You guys, like I said, it's behind the scenes. Okay, hold on. Ready? Here we go. So today in this So today in this episode, we're going to talk about how to pick your images that will sell. And what I'm going to share with you today is exactly what I do and do to this day to make my images sell. Not make, but really, yeah, make. Make my images sell. I make money, and this is what I do every single year. This is the perfect time for me to do this because I just did it, and I do this every single year. Okay, I have to take a breath. So, okay, Scott, he has shown up to this live podcast, I believe almost every single time. Amazing. I just met a new friend. And he had asked, we were talking over at Facebook, and I said, I'll tell you a little bit about me. But what I want to tell you about me, honestly, I have a lot. Obviously, we all have our stories, but I'm going to tell you about me and how I got to the journey where I am and why I'm doing what I'm going to share with you today. And I'm going to ask you to think about your journey. Because when you start a photography business, it's more than just the imagery, it's you. You have developed the work, it's within our soul. We know that. There's certain things that you want to tell the public, there's certain things you don't. So you get to choose it because it's your business, right? So I'm going to make this quick because I want to get to helping you find the images that you already have and put them out in a portfolio to sell. Okay, so for me, I started college late. I met my husband we were young. Met him in Hawaii. He was in the Corps, and I was out on vacation. And we are still married to this day, just hit 40 years of marriage. So it's been a ride, right? It's been a ride. Life is a ride. So I started my family when I was 21. We had our son at 21. I had my daughter 2.5 years later. And I was raising them in the early years, and I was thinking about going into the police department. Our family is officers, sheriffs, highway patrols. It's just in our blood. And I thought to myself, I don't know if I really want to do those hours with my children. So what I decided to do is I went to college, and I wanted to do something that I really enjoy. Photography, right? Art, actually. Art, I like to doodle and all that kind of stuff. So I went into college. I got my degree in art with an emphasis in photography. And the senior year, when I finally graduated, again, I was an older student. We still were in film. Film was the thing back then. I was in the darkroom. I had to learn digital. But in my senior year, we had to have a big, huge show and getting us ready for the art scene. And the department chair, Ruth, if you're ever watching this, you have changed my life. Ruth purchased one of my senior 24 by 36 images. I had 4 of them up, and she purchased one, and another professor purchased. Well, he didn't purchase. We bartered. He grabbed that one of the images and made my website. So I got the bug very fast after I graduated on how exciting it felt to be valued and somebody wanted my work. It hit me quick. So I fell in love with it and it felt great. And for me, I was like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm gonna sell. I'm gonna sell. This is so much fun. And so what I did was I tried various things. I had shows, obviously, because I was an art major in college. So I did shows. Nope, wasn't for me. I sold prints like everyone else. Nope, it wasn't for me. I commissioned, and that was a little exciting, but nope, I just wasn't. It was great. I just wasn't feeling it though. I didn't know why. I was dabbling. I was trying new things out. I didn't know for sure what I wanted to do. And then I had someone contact me to license my work for a billboard. I was like, "What?" In New York, you guys. I was like, "Holy moly." So, Google, they found me on Google, and I was writing on my blog because I always love to just write my journeys. So my website was getting up and up and up and up, and I didn't realize it, to tell you the truth. I do a lot of these things pop up, and I'm like, "Oh, wow, that happened? I didn't know," because I just do these things. So I got my Hawaiian flower. I still remember it. My Hawaiian flower was in New York, and I sold that for $1,000. Now, back then, $1,000 is like $4,000 nowadays. So I was like, "Whoa, I can make some money with one image." Really? I was like, "This is the bomb." And so I was like, "Okay, I gotta figure this out. I want a license. I wanna license my work." Well, a little bit backstory. I'm almost done with my story. A little bit backstory. When I wanted to go to college, I told my husband, "I gotta go to college. I gotta do something to better myself." I really like the art scene. I really like industrial design, interior design. My friend was an interior designer, and I was like, "Oh my god, I love what Sylvia does." Well, she didn't. She ended up going to school and then she dropped out. But anyways, still, I got a taste of it from Sylvia. So I was like, "Oh my gosh, she makes beautiful bedrooms," and I just love that. So I said, "Which one do I want, industrial design or art?" And I just, you know what? I'm just gonna do the art. I really love it. But I did have the bug of design. So I started looking in, because industrial design is businesses and big places to design. And I thought, but I like the interior part. I like the interior and the decorations and all that kind of stuff. So I started going into looking into the hospitality. They're the ones that do the hotels and really beautiful uh, restaurants. They have art buyers and art consultants that do this. So I dived into it. That's what I ask my clients to do. Search from your soul. And when you find something you're like, oh, that resonates, do it. Don't listen to anybody else that's gonna kill your dreams, but you have to do the work. You gotta figure out, "Okay, I knew I wanted to do this, so I wanted to say, 'Okay, now I'm going to really dive in,'" and I did. I'm gonna share with you the steps that I'm doing today, but again, I want you to put your shoes on because you're not the same as me. We are all different. So now at this time, I do still license my work. It is not focused only on hospitality anymore, which hospitality was a blast. Don't get me wrong. But I just figured, you know what? I want to help photographers now because I had so many clients tell me, "I don't know how to make money," and I felt so bad. They were working so hard on their websites, and they didn't even know who their clients were, and they're pushing out to social media, and they still didn't know, and I just like, "Okay, I really was not gonna go on this path," but I did. And so I have now someone help me, my rep helps me license my work, and it's a variety of things. I'm around everywhere. So now I understand, though, because you have to do one thing. If you go and say, "I'm gonna do this and do this," with ideal customers. An art consultant is not a photographer wanting a business. It's a different customer. So you gotta think about that. So when I teach you today, business is hard, but if you love what you're doing, it's not that hard. It's fun. It's like puzzle pieces. So now I coach you photographers who really wanna turn your passion. and I'm going to talk to you, not art consultants, right? And I'm going to share with you first that what I'm going to share with you in the beginning, I was all over the place and I didn't know what I was doing. So I wasn't making the sales that I wanted and I was getting mad. And I thought it was my images and it wasn't my images. It was just I was all over the place and people didn't know because they weren't interested because I wasn't talking their talk. Now I talk the talk because I love it, not because I'm trying to chase the sale. It's because I love what I do and I want that for you too. So today, when we do this, my huge tip is if you know your market, this will work better. But if you don't, it's okay. Let's get you started. Let's get you started. This will still help you pull out the images that are really resonating to people at this time. Okay, the first thing that I do on the checkoff sheet when it's done, when it's done for you, I use Google. It is the huge search engine. It is huge. It is the biggest one. So I like to go in and start doing searching. And I'm going to give you a little bit of variety of things that maybe you can think about, but I'm going to tell you my story first and how I search and why I search, and then you can think of it too, and we'll help you too. And then if you, of course, you have questions, we can work on it after the podcast. So what I did, and I've done this already. So I always do this at the end of the year because I want to start, because for me, I give my rep new images for the following year. For 2025, I give him new stuff to be out to the world. Now, again, license my work to a lot of places, but my goal still is to hit those hospitality areas. Those are the ones that are really passionate for me. So I go in and I type into Google, what is color of the year? What is the color of the year? And you put in the year. So as of this podcast, it's 2025. What is the color of the year for 2025? And that's it popped right up. And this year for 2025, it's mocha mousse. So boom, I knew. So that's something new because each year is a different color for anybody that's in the design area. So again, color of the year, and the year that you are doing this for the following year. That's why I always say this in December. This is perfect because in 2020, in January, you got a new year. And then what I do is I look at the images that I shoot. So color of the year, and then I shoot. Of course, this is broad now. We're going to narrow it down a little bit more. I'll do color of the year, and then I'll get a little snapshot of everything that pops up that's that color. It doesn't matter. And I do a snapshot. So I have the color of the year and I have the mocha, I have the Pantone color. I have a little snapshot of that. And then next, I go ahead and I look for landscape and nature photography with that color, which would be for this year is mocha. It's mocha mousse. And I actually have the Pantone number, but I don't have to usually use that anymore. I used to back in the days. Right now, we're just getting a general idea. It doesn't have to be exactly, it's within that frame of mocha mousse. And so I start looking at different ideas, waterfalls. I don't do waterfalls as much, but I do mountains. I lived in California, so I have coasts, deserts, and nature. I have all kinds of nature. And so I'd like to look at those in Google. I'll go ahead first and put the mocha color so I could see what people will want in 2025, and I screen capture that. Now, I understand because I've been getting hits on some of my deserts, and it's because it has some those mocha colors. But with you, you may not care about the color. So take Google and put what you photograph. Waterfalls. What are the best images for waterfalls? So you go to Google and I just go ahead. What are images for waterfalls in 2025. And you could even put top images if you want and get it. And then I just look at everything and I kind of, what I like to do is see what is similar. Is it, are they, is it certain types of waterfall? Is it the lighting? You will see a big, huge thing of waterfalls and you'll be able to tell kind of like a theme. And then you could say to yourself, are any of my pieces like Google, like what I'm seeing in Google? Again, this is just the beginning. Okay. So take your work and do a search and go to the actual images and start, just do a screen capture, get all that. So now I have an idea of what is really big and kind of know my color. And now I know the imagery that's doing really well. So if I say nature and I notice that, uh, let's say a certain tree is popping up or the style of a certain tree is really popping up a lot, then I'll go through my portfolio later or my imagery later. And I'm going to tell you a way that you could shoot towards the end. So don't worry about that. So I'll tell you that too. But the next thing that I do, because I have the big picture, right? But we got to see if it's marketable. So the next thing I do is step two. I go ahead and I start looking at places that, for me, I will look at marketplaces that I know sell photography. Now, these are the places that are really your competitors, to tell you the truth. So I go to Etsy, Fine Art America for me, because even though I'm licensing my images mostly will go to walls. I do have puzzle pieces and different other things that I license, but I'm going to focus on this right here. This is my main goal of what I do. So if a puzzle piece is licensed, it's still done this way because this is what I like to do. That's what I want you to do. I want you to figure out like your excitement. And I love to do it this way with the colors. And so what I do is I go and I look at what I shoot and I look to see on Etsy and I look for top sellers. Now, I'm going to tell you super secret here. Well, if you don't know, you should know this. The people that are at the top of Etsy are the people that pay for ads. Etsy lets you pay. Well, actually, I won't say let you. Etsy pushes everybody that pays for ads on their platform and puts them up at the top. Yep. In Fine Art America, whoever shares their work and pushes them to Fine Art America. So, like if you have a website or a blog, and you push you what you do is you take that image that's on Fine Art America, and they actually know because it's connected and you put it on your blog post, then Fine Art will push yours up higher because they know that you are sharing that to other places. So if you don't share your work on Fine Art America, you won't be up to the top. So those are 2 things you have to be careful of. So if I see an image on Etsy that I really love, that's definitely what's selling, that, I've known on Google's, it's kinda like mine and Fine Art America, then I actually go to that and I see, did they get a lot of sales? Do they have a lot of good, reviews? And if they do, what are the people saying? "Oh, it's so beautiful. I love the dramatic, feel to this. Oh my gosh, I just can't wait." Well, you better take all that and I screen capture all that too, because those are verbiages that I could use to market my own work. So you're getting 2 birds with 1 stone, or whatever it is. There's several different things, but make sure that these images that you're looking at are actually sellers, okay? Now, if you're into media, you could do this on Shutterstock and Adobe Stock. So if you want to get into that kind of stuff. And for me, another thing that I do, because I'm like a go-getter, because I know I'm licensing my work and I really do want to hit like Marriott and Hilton. I go in and I look at their displays. Like I go in and look at their designs and I pay attention to, and sure enough, I've been seeing the mocha. It's hilarious. They're already in it. They're already in it because they're top-notch people that want the latest and greatest, right? They're not people, but corporations. And so they want people to be very excited and like, wow, and you can help them do that. And so what I do is I look at their spaces, and even if it's art, it doesn't matter. Let's just say somebody drew a beautiful, I've been seeing these really pretty white, I don't even know what they are, but I did a video on, I was walking out here. I did a video on Instagram, and I was walking because the light was shining on the backlighting it, and it's these beautiful little white bushes. I don't know what they are. They're plants. I'm gonna have to ask one of you guys. I'll have to put that in my Instagram. What are these called? But it was absolutely gorgeous. And let's just say, and I've seen that already. I know that's gonna hit my market. So I'm gonna go out and photograph a little bit more of those, to tell you the truth. But let's just say an art piece is, somebody drew that or painted that kind of nature in, art piece. Well, you have a photograph of it. So when these people look to for design, it doesn't they're not going, "Oh, I just want a drawing or somebody that painted." They just want something that goes beautiful with the space. And if you are a photographer that you're like, "This is it. These people are putting this in their hospitality areas," then yeah, you're gonna be sharing that. You're gonna get a portfolio ready for that. So pay attention. So again, I'm gonna say again, common themes, look for that, and color. Look for lighting when you're looking into this too. Is a common, does people really like the lighting? And I always say feelings. We sell feelings. What are the feelings that are going out there? I realize, because I read up, that these feelings that they're doing is really just like calm and soothing, because a lot of people now love nature. I'm telling you, we're wanted right now. We are sorted out because there's so much people just need to get away. So they love photography without people in them. So look at those things, and then make sure that these are in your site. Bring up Lightroom and start putting those images in a little folder. Don't worry about it yet. Just do that right now. Start putting them in a little folder. That's what I do. In Lightroom, I make a new folder, and then I just say 2025. So let me go over here. Okay. Let's see. Oh, when you're okay, I also remember I told you that when you're looking at this, look at the verbiage that they're saying. Pay attention to the prices, because I asked you guys too. When you look at Etsy and all those places, that even Shutterstock, I know it's not as much if you're doing media, but look at the prices that they're charging so you have an idea of what's going on too, because you're doing this research for your own imagery, but you also, since you're there, put in what they're saying and put in the prices that they're selling their pieces. And how big are they? If you're gonna be doing wall art, if you're gonna be doing, and also, just put that in anyways, even if you decide to do licensing like I do, just because you get an idea like, okay, the people are paying this. Licensing is a little different for sure, but just get that information so you know. Are they buying large prints? Or are they buying a lot of small prints and putting it all together on a different wall? Pay attention to that too. Then you can take your imagery, put it in a portfolio, and share it off to the world like, hey, look at this. So I know that we photograph from our soul, but really home decor trends is what we do as photography. If you're going to sell your photography, like I do, I enjoy interior trends. So when you're out there doing, this is my next thing. Most of the time, all I need to do is those two things, and I'm done. I'm like, I'm good. But I'm going to give you a little bit of tips to think about throughout your life. No, within like the first couple of months as you're doing this. Let's say January and February. Think about these things. So I always say go to pay attention to where your people are at. So I would stroll through like IKEA and different stores if you have them. But one of the things that I truly like is I sign up for decor stuff like architectural design, L decor. I love to do that kind of stuff. One of the things, let me see if I put in here. I don't know if it's in this area. I get these emails and they keep me up to trend on what's happening. Plus, for me, it's exciting. I really do enjoy it. So, if you don't like this kind of stuff, maybe you're a hiker, then sign up for different blogs and different emails that are within the hiking sector. And this way too, because hikers would love to buy your stuff too. Outdoorsy people would love to buy your stuff too. So sign up for these things so then you get to know them better. Let's see what I have here. Tip. Okay, I already talked about your theme. Oh, one of the things that I did as I was doing my research, I like to share with some examples of what I was doing, some tips. So I went in to the Mocha and I said, well, you know what? I want to see, I do a lot of desert photography. So let me look at the top desert photography hotels. And Sedona picked up right up one of the 8 spas to go to. Sedona was one of them. I was like, yes, I love Sedona because I've been there. And when I looked at the decor, sure enough, I was like, "Oh, yeah, this is a place that is into the mocha, and I have stuff that I could actually present." And when you have these portfolios, you'll be talking about it, and you would say, "I love this. Oh my gosh, I Sedona's so pretty. This image reminds me of Sedona." I mean, it's just even, you say, I just saw on Instagram, Sedona posted this, and my image that I just made reminds me of this, you know? But that's how you talk because you are in that realm with your photography. So I would, if I were you, again, you could do the first two, but I would also just get involved. Go to magazines if you're in the media sector. And I personally love, nowadays, tourism is really big and they like eco-friendly stuff. So, like I said, they love that. If you have a lot of imagery that you're like, okay, these landscapes are doing well. I have a landscape that looks like this, or this nature looks doing really well. And I have this, and I really want to get into the ecotourism because there's no people in them. Then start looking into those blogs and websites and start following them, and then you talk the talk. So that's how you can really get connected to these people. I subscribe to hospitality design, and I still do to this day. And I have Petapixel because that's my photography in me. So I have my what I love to do and my photography. You should have Petapixel if you want because they talk about a lot of variety design. And then what do you do? Are you in the sector of healing? You should be signing up for those go to the blog posts, go to the websites and sign up for their emails and start to get to know them. And you'll know that you'll be able to resonate because you've already looked at the top images that are being sold at the time of the year that you're doing this. The last thing I'll have more in the checkoff list because I'm realizing that I'm talking a lot. It's already 39 minutes into this, but I do have that checkoff list, and I'm going to give you more for people that like to put their work into fine art and other things that we do as photographers. I'm going to give you the checkoff list. But the last thing I do, this is the last tip, and then I'll look for questions. If you guys have questions, please ask in here because I'm getting ready to finish up. But the last thing that I really do is social media. And the reason why I'm saying this is last is only because I've noticed I've controlled myself, but I've noticed that most photographers get sucked into the social media trap. And that's where I mean, Facebook, all the social media, they want you to stay on their platform, right? Even YouTube right now. If you stay on Facebook and just sit there, or Instagram and just sit there forever, you're not gonna finish what you need to do. But if you cannot find, you're just like, "I just don't I can't find I'm not finding the imagery," or whatever. I don't know how you couldn't, but maybe. Then I would go ahead and do some hashtags on Instagram and look at the top images that are coming up, seeing what people are saying, and paying attention to that. And if they have a website, you can click on their website to see what are they selling and get some insight to seeing if it's really happening. Sometimes social media is not really true. That's why I said go to the marketplace. That's why I said go to Google, because those are better. And obviously, when I say you go into the trends of your home decor, or you go into the trends of licensing and advertising, you want to go into those trends, you go into the places where they're at. You pay attention to the ads, you go to the magazines if that's what you want to do. I know I've been doing a lot of the hospitality, but you got to think about yourself. What are the common themes that they're talking about, and pay attention to your feelings of your imagery, because you've already done the Google. You've already done everything that was selling, because you've done that in the marketplace. So, subscribe to those news, the industry that you love and the news, and pay attention to those things. And then last is social media, because it will work. If you I It's funny because one of my clients, I'm like, "I don't do social media." One of my clients was like, "Yes, you do. You do LinkedIn." I was rocking LinkedIn back in the days. They didn't have so much spam as they do today, as like everybody's hitting you up, because when I got into LinkedIn, it was really cool. In the very beginning, it was just getting into networking with people that are business to business. Now you got to put up with people continually saying, "Hey, you want to work with me? Hey, I got this for you." You just have to learn to shut that off and really see the people that you want to work with and get to know them. And you don't be a spammer either. You're just getting to know them. But as you're sharing your work on LinkedIn, let's just say LinkedIn, because I love LinkedIn. As you're sharing your work to LinkedIn, and you're telling stories, and you're connecting to your people, those businesses are going to see you. So do it, and do it, and focus on it, and don't go out to Never Land. So you could go in and find groups. I did, where fine art, photography and art collectors hang out. And I found them. They were together and I was hanging out there. I don't do that now because I don't have the time, but you can find them. You just have to take the time to look for them. A lot of people get frustrated and say, "Well, I didn't find it," and they maybe, did it. I'm telling, I feel like it's like a piece of puzzle, and it's like I'm determined to really just chip and chip. And once I find one chip, I go even more and go to the next chip on how I can get closer to the people that now I really truly want to sell to. So I'm going to give you a little bonus tip that I do when I don't have a portfolio. Let's just say you did all that and you're like, "Ah, man," because I say at least have 15 images that you would share after you do this, and make it into a portfolio, because this is what you're going to share in 2025. I mean, honestly, you could work that you could just, I say 15 images, but if you do an image once a month just to start sharing to people, I would not just share that image all the time. I would share the experience of the image and where I went and different things about that one piece. I think too many photographers want to just share the image as it's completed, but they don't understand that what you're doing right now is you're showing them that you made this piece, and it's good because you've done the research. People want it. You just Now it's time to connect. So what I do is I feel like, "Oh my gosh, okay, I don't have the mocha that I want." Right? Let's just say that. I don't have the mocha colors that I truly want. So I go out and photograph. So what do? I go to Pinterest. I love Pinterest for this. It gives me so many ideas. I'll type landscapes in mocha or nature photography with mocha browns or whatever. And even if like it doesn't work out, there may be some kind because you'll know by is it a soft feel that you photograph or a dark, really crisp. You'll see because you've done all the research in the beginning and you'll know what you need to put in your portfolio and which is a lot of fun because now you're shooting for a reason. You're shooting for a reason. It feels so much better than just yes, we shoot for ourselves. Don't get me wrong, but it feels better when you shoot for somebody else. And that's what you're going to do. So I went and I did that. I was like, I don't have enough mocha. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many mushrooms. Moose color mocha mushrooms. And I have mushrooms in my portfolio. I didn't shoot them. I have them back in my hard drive of this big old computer. Guess what Janice is going to do? I'm going to start post processing my mushroom pictures. And I will share them with you throughout 2025. So, anyways, you guys get to see the super secret. And that really does work. Okay. So, this is what I do. This is how I get my clients. So, I really do hope this has helped you. I will cut this off and I will definitely have it more concise and I will have a checkoff list, but it is what works. We work with trends, whether you like it or not. If you want to sell, you could be this almighty photographer, but if you're doing what I'm doing, you got to have a little bit more trendy. Now, there may be a different space for you, like macro photographers and bugs you may be in the science sector. So if you're in the science sector or something like that, then go to those places. Look for the top bugs that you like to photograph and look at the top ones that are being sold or licensed. Do that because that's what you do. And pay attention. Do the Google, do the marketplace, and then go on to the other steps that I had asked you to do blogs, websites, sign up for these things, pay attention to the prices, pay attention to what they're saying. Okay. This works for sure. But it's great to do it now because you're in the next year and you really can focus on a beautiful portfolio, maybe two. If you get two, all kudos to you. Who knows? You might even have three portfolios because you're ready to go. Who knows? But I'd love to hear as you grow. Please let me know. I love to hear what you guys are doing, and I I'm excited to help you out because it does truly help me. So let's see if we have any. Okay. I need to niche my photography. I'm all over the place. So, yeah, because a niche is who you're selling to, not your photography. So, let me get that clear. Sometimes we think as our photography as a niche because you'll hear people say, "Well, I'm a ocean photographer. That's my niche. That's what my portfolio is, ocean photography." The niche is the people who like ocean photography. So it's the people who so your niche is, do you want to print? So if you want to print to them, your customer is somebody who loves the ocean, loves the smell of it, loves so you would be hanging out with the people that love all of the spaces around the United States and Ireland and other we this world is small now. So don't always think of the United States, you guys, think of the world. But you wouldn't be sharing, let's say, people that like deserts. Now, if you like to photograph deserts and oceans, then I would think, who would want desert and oceans? Well, that's why I did my licensing to hospitality because there was people that wanted oceans, Marriott's over there, and Sedona, right? But I thought about my client. So think of it that way, Scott, okay? In the subject. So Kathy, you say, I'm very interested in the subject. Are you talking about the subject matter? Let me know. Did I tell you too much, David? That's why I cut these podcasts off because I make sure that I'm concise in the so if you go to Photos Biz Method slash blog, all of them are cut and put into the blog, so it's very concise. And, that's why a lot of podcasters, honestly, they unless you're like what we did with, the last podcast when we had Lori, wasn't she fun? Oh my gosh, I just love her book. Did you see that she got sold out? How cool is that? She sold out her books. Kudos, Lori. But anyways, that's if any of you guys haven't seen that podcast, you should because Lori just did this really beautiful book, Polar Opposites. I just love it. It's on my dining room table over there. And so, yeah. But I like to do this because again, I like to hang out with you guys. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's a great Christmas present. I love it. Oh, thank you, Kathy. Okay. He's just slow on taking notes. I hear you. That's why I wanted to get that check off list, David, because I wanted that for you guys. Because I realize these ones are really intense. I realize that. That's why I always want to give you guys something when you join. So I apologize. It's just, boy, man, this weather is crazy. Okay, let's see. I think what I'm going to do is I will say goodbye and look out for the next podcast on January 7th. And on social media, once these are out, we're going to push these out to Facebook. YouTube, no, because obviously what we'll do, maybe what I'll do is I'll go back to the podcast and I'll put the links on the description area down below because I have a couple that are actually done in my blog, and then you guys can watch the ones that are cut. Oh, thank you. You have a Merry Christmas too, and healthy, yes, right? Thank you so much. Yes, Merry Christmas to you all and Happy New Year. And if you like this podcast, please give it a thumbs up and share it with other photographers so we can definitely support each other. One of the things that I always ask the people that are in my coaching program is find a person that you can work with to keep you guys accountable. Thank you so much. You enjoy the holidays too, Scott. And if you're new, uh, I would love always when you're new, definitely say hi, join the conversation. That's why I'm here. I get to meet all you wonderful photographers. All right, until next year. Is that crazy? I will see you guys later. Cheers, everybody. Bye.